from the 305 to the 412 and all the way to the West Coast. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at JT and the Don, or email them at jtandthedon@gmail.com. Now take it away, guys.
Give them a shot to do what?
Welcome to the next episode of JT and the Don, presented by Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Don, Donato Bucci, and remember to please subscribe to us and follow us on wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. We're on all the major platforms, including the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube channel. And we have a special guest tonight, but first, let me welcome in everyone's favorite JT, Jimmy Thompson. How you feeling today?
Good, man. Hey, look, I don't know what you feel or what I said to you over the last couple of weeks, but you had to go get Debo, the neighborhood bully, to do the show with us. That's how unsafe you feel doing shows with me now?
Yeah, I always have. I always like having the extra security, so I'm glad because he can fight these battles.
Spoken like a true wealthy person. You wouldn't get on-air security.
Yeah, JT, you tend to try to intimidate our guests, and then they start to agree with you at times on the show, even though they know I'm right. So, but Jerm let's welcome him in from Stuff About Sports on the Give Us a Shot Network. Jerm, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for the time. I know this is tough getting away from the TV because the Sixers are playing on the throwback NBA on NBC, which is classic. So we appreciate the time.
Yeah, I got one. If you see me glance like this, I'm keeping my eye on it, seeing what's going on. So it is nice to see. One of the very few things, good things about the NBA returning to NBC is we get to see throwback graphics and things like that and the music. So it's pretty cool. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, anytime. And I've got it on as well, as they start to go down the stretch here in March and April and into the playoffs. So it should be pretty exciting. But we'll talk about plenty of NBA stuff here in the next couple months, along with college basketball and baseball starting up. But NFL Combine this past weekend, it's a big favorite of JT and myself. There's always some amazing performances, right? Whether it's John Ross with the 40-yard dash or someone pumping out a lot of bench presses. But Jerm, let's start with you. You're the guest. Let's start with you. Spit that knowledge. Give us 2 winners and 2 losers from the NFL Combine this past weekend.
So I had 2 winners. I got a offensive player, defensive player. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon, with a 4.39 40-yard dash. Like for a tight end, for somebody as big as he is, what is he, like 6'3", 250, somewhere around there? When you're erasing Vernon Davis's records, that's Vernon Davis hasn't played in a long time. So when you're somebody who's doing stuff like that, you definitely get the nod in my book. So again, he had a top speed of almost 24 miles per hour, which is exactly what Jahmyr Gibbs hit. And the catch there is that Sadiq has 40 pounds more muscle on him. So if you're looking for some type of versatile piece, I think I'd go with that. And then on the defensive side, I mean, I don't know, probably heard this guy's name all week, Sonny Styles from Ohio State. Just all types of stuff that he's been doing. I'm a big nerd when it comes to some of these advanced analytics. They have the relative athletic score where he earned a perfect score on that. The 43.5-inch vertical. He had the 4.46, and then the 10-yard split, which was at like 1.5. So if you're looking for a defensive back that has all the tools and all the power and all the intangibles, then Sonny Styles is your guy.
JT.
I mean, he stole the thunder, man. I mean, yeah, those guys were insane.
I mean, Sonny Styles stole the thunder,
I mean, So I'm actually going to go with two guys from the same school. So I don't know what they're putting in the water down there at Arkansas, but they need to start winning more games because they got all kind of freak athletes. I'm going to just start calling them LSU North because these two dudes from Arkansas, they lit it up. So I'm going to go with the running back, Mike Washington Jr., 6'1", 225, runs a 4.33. So I know Jerm was like, he loves the analytics and, the advanced metrics. That's the fastest 40 time for someone 220 pounds or more in almost 20 years. I'm like, who's making these people? Like, that's insane. And then he had a 1.51 10-yard split, which is fastest amongst all running backs at the combine. So that means he has the short area quickness too. And Jerm was just talking about the relative athletic score, the RAS. He also had a 10. So, I mean, it's insane. And I think he's a winner too because I feel like this athleticism didn't always translate to big numbers throughout his career because he's also like bottom in stats like missed tackles and like 10-yard runs and stuff like that. But when you run that kind of 40 and have that kind of performance, somebody gonna, bump you up their draft board. So I think he was a winner. And then the other one, Don, I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder because I know you're a sucker for quarterbacks to just show up and do crazy things, but we got to go with Taylor Green. I mean, 6'6". They were saying he had the best numbers all around for a quarterback athletically since 2003. 4.36 40, 43.5-inch vertical, 11.2 broad jump, and he was slinging the ball in the passing drills. Shit, if Anthony Richardson can go top 5, like somebody going to take a chance on this kid in the first 2 rounds after this show. And so those are my 2 winners.
Those are all good. I'm going to go with more of the guys in the trenches. I'm going to start with a guy from your school, JT, over at UCF, Malachi Lawrence, defensive end, edge rusher, outside linebacker type of guy in a class that is loaded with talent, high-end talent at the edge rush position. He needed a big day. He needed to make a splash, get his name out there, having come from UCF. And he produced 6'4", 253 long arms. He finished second in both the vertical leap and broad jump, and in a 4.5, 240 from a guy who's 6'4", 253 playing on the line. That 40 time was only behind Arvell Reese and David Bailey. Oh, by the way, those 2 guys might go top 5, no worse than top 10, and now he's right there with them. He's still a work in progress, but this is why I think when we look at winners and losers, you have to look at who has the most that they can win or jump up the board, and he was one of those guys with a big day. Could he now, is the number 1 combine winner? For me, he definitely helped this case the most. And then on the other side of the ball, Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia, his day took him from maybe like a fringe first round talent to maybe in the top half of the first round. So he went from at best maybe sneaking into the first. Now they're talking, middle of the first round. That's a big jump, and that's a big jump for signing bonuses for him. And he's 6'7", 315. You talked about the 10-second split out of the 40, Jerm. He ran a 1.71 10-yard split in the 40, ranked second among all of offensive linemen. So in a draft class, again, with a lot of offensive linemen, he happened to really stand out, which was impressive. So I don't think we named the 2 losers yet, and that's a strong word. That's a word that JT would use. So let's say
so you ain't never used the word loser before. That's why I can't do shows with you. You're trying to come on here with this Boy Scout shit attitude. Like you're the biggest shit talker I know. You want me to pull up conversations, all the text messages, every group chat you're in? All you do is talk crap about people. Now you're trying to act like you're a choir boy on air.
The Last Boy Scout, great movie, by the way. The Last Boy Scout.
They weren't choir boys in that movie.
So Jerm, let's go with the 2 guys that maybe they saw their draft stock plummet the most because of their performance, or has a lot more question marks now.
Yeah. So defensive tackle Lee Hunter from Texas Tech was one that kind of stood out to me. NFL's getting faster, especially on the front line, on that defensive line, and you're 318, which is, I don't know if you guys noticed the trend for a lot of these linemen, offensive and defensive. A lot of them are getting lighter. They're not getting, they're not really getting, like the days of like the Warren Sapps and the Albert Hainsworths guys, like who could just fill up a line, are over with. You have to be athletic. You have to be in shape. And there's nothing wrong with being 318. We've seen a plenty of 300+ pound guys who are in shape and can move fast. And this guy, for me, sounded, he didn't get the memo. You're running a 5.18. That's me. That's me running out there. 21-inch vertical. I could get you 21. And, I don't play professional football. So, especially when you compare him to the other defensive linemen who went out this year, where defensive linemen as a whole set a record for the average fastest 40 time in history, and you're the slowest guy in that group, for me is a death sentence in the draft stock. So if that can sound unfair to him, but basically he told everybody that I can be outrun on the edge, and that's not really what you want to hear if you're a defensive tackle. The other one is Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. He's the second slowest in the receiver group, and in a league that basically separation is like the buzzword, the keyword. You have to be able to get separation, and the guy with a contested catch speed of 4.6 means you're not fast enough. You can't keep up, and you can't fit anywhere if you can't get separation, and then you're not also physical enough to basically get yourself open. So now we got a scheme for you. You're a liability is what you've been basically telling all the scouts. And for a guy coming out of Notre Dame, not a good look for Malachi. So those are my two.
Well, I'll jump in real quick. Jerm stole one of mine, and I'll just follow up on the Malachi Fields because that's who I had. 6'5", 218, ran a 4.61. And on top of that, Jerm, he dropped at least one, I think maybe a couple passes in the gauntlet there when he's running down the line. So, you got to be able to create separation, as you just said. So now I'm looking at him and like, are you another Kelvin Benjamin, essentially? Like, can you not create separation? Are you going to be a guy that we thought could stretch the field vertically with your size, but you can't really? And now we're just throwing, contested jump balls, and at best it's 50-50. So to me, in a class, and on top of that, this is a class that is just loaded with wide receivers. We could see 6 go in the first round. So now you put these measurables there, it's a problem. Like Malachi Fields is going to have to battle back. I don't know if he has a pro day coming up, but he's gonna have to go to work on that 40 time. JT, who are your two?
I like how you said the receivers. There's so many talented ones in this draft, and I feel like you could have picked a number of one of them disappointed. Tate from Ohio State disappointed a little bit. I think Mekhi Lemon did good, but everyone's going to criticize his interviewing. I don't know if that's an act that he's putting on. He's just really like that. But
JT, I was thinking about that because you read a lot. I read a lot of articles as I'm sure you did, and I'm wondering if that's a smoke screen from some other teams hoping that he'll fall down the board, right? Like if I'm sitting there as the Steelers, now maybe that's too far, but if I'm more in the mid-teens there, and I know, hey, maybe Lemon gets to like 10 or 12. Can I get him to drop a couple more spots to me? So let me put some of this, false information out there that, terrible interviewer, this and that. And all of a sudden he's sliding down the board, and now we have the steal of the draft.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with Denzel Boston from Washington. First of all, he didn't even run the 40. So you got all these guys showing their athleticism. He's like, nah, I'm not going to run the 40. So if you're not going to run the 40, you at least better kill the drills. And he didn't. Talking about the gauntlet, he dropped multiple passes in the gauntlet. So this is a guy I saw, they were mocking him to like mid to late first round. Like he could have been wide receiver 4 in this class. Like that's what he was battling for. And now with this kind of performance, like you said about the pro day, he's going to need that to really, boost that draft stock up to where it was pre-combine. And my other loser is Emmett Johnson, the running back. And only because a lot of people had him as potentially the RB2 behind Jeremiah Love. It's like Jeremiah Love, and then there's a big teardrop, but like somebody's got to be number 2, right? And a lot of people were thinking it was going to be Emmett Johnson, but he ran the slowest 40 amongst the running backs, 4.56, but at 5'11", 200 pounds. Just to let you know, like how bad that is. Jerm, going back to you, I know you like the relative athletic score. So we talked about how these other guys killed it with like perfect 10s. This guy had a 6.16. So that landed him in the 61st percentile, which is amongst running backs that were that bad since 1987. So it's just not looking like he's gonna have an uphill battle to be successful in the NFL. Like, you're talking about athleticism that has not been this bad since the 80s. Usually guys that are small and not that fast don't work out in the NFL. So those are my two losers. Or guys that hurt their stock. Don said we can't use the L word. So
that's a harsh word.
Before we go on, though, how do you guys feel about, because I feel like this is happening more and more every year. How do you feel about guys skipping events at the combine overall? Like, do you like that? Because I sure don't. I feel like the combines are rite of passage. I feel like when you're doing that, you're telling people that you're better than what guys like Tom Brady and Terrell Owens and Randy this is part of the deal. Like, you know what I mean? You're stepping into the professional ranks, and you should be doing everything. Like, you're telling other people, future teammates, your peers, that you're better than them. I don't have to do this. And I think that's a mentality. Like, if I'm a GM, I'm looking at that like, I don't like that.
Well, Jerm, I was going to say, Emmett Johnson was also my second guy. But, another guy I was going to put on there, which goes to Jerm's point, is Fernando Mendoza. Like, the way I look at it is, it's not a strong quarterback class. And even if it was, you should want that competition. I'm going to go out there and throw with when Peyton Manning, the Ryan Leafs, kind of that draft, or the draft that we've seen the last couple of years with 4 or 5 first-round quarterbacks. And for him not to, you start to wonder, like, yes, the film, I always say the film speaks for itself. But to your point, Jerm, like, the other guys are doing this, and some guys had a lot to lose, like a Carnell Tate. So kind of props to him for still wanting to run the 40. Because at the end of the day, you always have your pro day to make up for it, which is going to be a much more controlled environment to your own receivers. Your coaches are going to set up the drills. And it's like, so what do you really have to lose unless you truly maybe don't quite believe in yourself? Were you protected a little bit by your teammates? Were you protected by the coaching staff wherever you were? And it's not just Mendoza, right? We saw some other guys only take part in certain drills and then not others. But to not throw at all, it's like, okay, arm injury? No. So why are you not doing it? Why do you not want to just go out there and throw, especially for the quarterbacks? I can understand maybe some of the receivers, they don't want to tear something or pull something, or they're already going in, a little ginger. But like for Mendoza and throwing, it's like, you're not going to overly do it, right? They're not going to make you overthrow. And then you have time until your pro day. So I'm with you at this point. It's like maybe before, when there weren't all these cameras and interviews and television stations there. But now it's like, the NFL makes a big spectacle of it. And so if you want to be part of that NFL family, sometimes you got to participate in those things, even maybe when you don't want to.
I got to disagree, man. I feel like it just depends on the player. Like, if I'm the quarterback, especially quarterbacks, if I'm projected to be the first overall pick, like, what is in it for me to do anything at the combine? Because they're not there to see me. They're there to see the athletic quarterbacks and all the other skill guys perform. Really, the thing that matters the most for quarterbacks at the combine is the interviews.
JT,
like,
hold on, let me stop.
Hold on. I feel like NFL teams put more stock in pro days for quarterbacks than they do for the combine, because it is an environment they feel like translates more to what they're looking for. Now, I do feel like it just depends on the player. Like, I do feel like if your stock is so high and like you're a lock to go, let's say top 10, why would you put yourself in a position to be in an environment with so many variables that you can't control, when you know that they're just looking to nitpick you, like you said, to get the cheapest price, even if it doesn't mean you're a worse player? So I think because the NFL is a short shelf life for a career to start with, why are you putting yourself in a position to potentially mess up and cut your earnings before you even play your first down? Like, that's just the game, and that's the way the NFL has made it. If the NFL was like, you know what, we're gonna take care of our players, guarantee their contracts, throughout their careers, maybe guys will take the risk and go out there and compete, but they got to get their money first. Because if you go out there and you don't run the fastest 40 time, boom, that your draft stock drops and you're out of the first round. It happens every year.
But what I was speaking specifically of quarterbacks, and you were when I tried to interject, because if none of the quarterbacks threw, JT, what are we doing there then?
Go to their pro days.
But the receivers have no one to throw to. And for some of those guys, they need that. Guys from the smaller schools.
If I know you use Tom Brady as an example. If Tom Brady, who was probably projected to not be drafted at all, is like, you know what, I'm not throwing, that's different. But this is Mendoza. We know he's going number 1 overall to the Raiders. At worst, number 3.
So then what's the difference?
Why?
You can't fall.
Why?
You can't fall. You
Why?
can't fall. Because you love football. How about that answer? Because you love football as much as he always says he loves football.
And you know what a wise man once said? If you're good at something, never do it for free. So if you want to see me throw,
listen, I understand. That's a different conversation, right? Tom Brady was a bad example. Andrew Luck, who by and large was the greatest college prospect of all time, competed in the combine. Now, to JT's point, he didn't throw, he did it at his pro day, but he did the events. I'm not speaking on terms of hurting your stock. I'm talking about camaraderie. I'm talking about being part of the brotherhood is kind of my thing. It's less about what you can project. If you're at the combine and you're eligible to be drafted, you're already good enough to play in the NFL is my line of thinking in that. If you're there for a reason. It's not about proving anything. It's about going through the grind with everybody else. And when you're a player choosing not to do, and we're not talking about one event like throwing for quarterbacks. I understand that the pro day is probably a better situation for you on that. But Andrew Luck was out there doing the 3-cone drill. He was out there doing the agility test. He was out there doing the 40-yard dash. You got players like Caleb Williams last year not doing none of that.
He's an athlete, though. That's
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
that.
I feel like the quarterbacks that have strong athletic attributes, yeah, it's probably fun for them to do the combine. But if I'm Bryce Young, like, why the hell do I want to be out there? Like, I'm the number 1 pick. You're gonna tell me how short I am, how slow I am, and they're gonna pick me apart, and boom, now I'm not going number 1 overall. Like,
but he didn't do the combine. And Caleb Williams did. Caleb Williams didn't do
everyone. He was there with
Caleb
everyone.
Williams,
I saw him talking to everyone, having fun.
Caleb Williams skipped the entire combine, but he was out there dapping up the groundskeeper like he owned the event, and he had a terrible rookie season, and people were dogging him because. Again, where was the main things they were questioning? They weren't questioning his ability. We saw that in college. They were questioning his heart. That goes into the decision making. That goes into you have no heart. You're not going to do the combine. You're not going to give up your medical records. You're not going to do the one thing that everybody else is doing. Why? Why are you special?
But this is the biggest opportunity of your life. Like, you got to play it safe. Like, that's like saying that's my point. So let me ask you a question. So if a guy's injured and he's a top 5 pick, you're saying like, hey, look, if you want to show how tough and much of a NFL brotherhood you are, you got to go out there and perform.
Right. The guys we're talking about are not injured though. They're actively choosing.
We don't know that. Okay. Football players are always injured.
Fair enough.
Well, I get what you guys are saying, but I feel like there's just too much money, and the NFL is too fickle when it comes to these kind of things. To where, like, if you know there's a good chance you're going to get a high draft pick with a lot of money, you just can't risk it. You can't put yourself in a position to risk it.
I'm going to end on this because we talked about Tom Brady. Tom Brady now is basically running the Raiders at this point, right? He's running that draft room. His word is going to be gospel in that draft room, right? And you watch any of the social media clips, anything on television, he talks about like 2 things. He talks about competitiveness and the process. Always, whether it's because of New England or when he was at Michigan, he wanted all the smoke with the QB room. He was going to rise up the ranks in the QB room,
because he had to.
But listen,
he had to.
But listen, so he talks about that all the time. And even now, when he was at his highest pinnacle, he always wanted that smoke. He always wanted to go against the Peyton Mannings. He didn't care about all that other stuff. He just wanted to compete. And so now he's going to go take a quarterback that did not do the combine. And yes, he may have won a national title, but that was a great coaching staff and a great team. And it just all came together. And he just happened to be the quarterback because the year before, they were also a really good team, but added a lot more pieces in addition to him. And now Tom Brady always talks about the process and competitiveness. Well, he didn't go through all of the process of the NFL combine. And then on top of that, he didn't want to throw. Why? To JT's point, maybe because people are going to pick at him, try to find holes in his game. Does he drop at all? Well, where's the competitiveness, Tom Brady? This is the guy you're going to pick. And remember this, if he does not pan out in the NFL. Now, that's not true for everyone, like the Caleb Williams and stuff. I can understand why certain guys don't. But Mendoza himself always talks about competitiveness and just love of the sport, and so does Tom Brady, and that's the guy he's going to take. And don't forget it, I said it here, when that does not pan out for the Raiders, we're going to wonder how competitive is he? Like, can he stand up in the NFL when he takes those
Quarterbacks don't
shots?
throw at the combine all the time. Matthew Stafford didn't do it. Joe Burrow didn't do it. Kyler Murray didn't do it. Drake May and Jaden Daniels, who were also in that same draft class with Caleb Williams, didn't do it.
And to Jerm Mai's point, that may not be correct. It may have worked out, but it may not be correct.
What this tells me, that's just the way it goes. If you wanted to change, NFL change the way you do business with players. That's all I'm saying. They can't risk it.
How do you want them to change it? Mendoza's going number 1 overall. Even if he had a bad day, he's going number 1 overall.
You crazy?
It's obvious.
What if we went out there and was been absolutely terrible? You don't think the Raiders are thinking about, all right, we might not take him number 1?
He's not going to be absolutely terrible.
How do you know?
What's he going to have a day like Drew Allen?
I'm in an environment throwing to guys I've never played with before, with no prep with these guys. It's all random, and now you want me to put my $35 million guaranteed future on the line just so you guys can call me a tough guy? No, I'm not doing that.
No, because again, we're not talking about hurting. I'm talking about literally doing the events because everybody else is doing them. It's part of the process. Mendoza could have a bad pro day because he's had a bad college game. The bad college game hasn't hurt his draft stock. The combine largely doesn't mean anything in terms, like, we're not talking about day 2, day 3 guys. If you're getting drafted on the first day, there's very little, like you talked about Denzel Boston. He's going to go in the top 20. Like, just because he
might not now.
He will.
Having a bad
100%.
He's not falling past the
might
Steelers.
not. He might not.
I'm telling you right now, he will be a day 1 guy. I promise you that. I will buy dinner. You want to do a dollar bet? I will do a dollar bet. He will be a day 1 guy. And just, nobody's going to give a shit about his drops. You know why? Because they have a bunch of college tape on him. He's fine. But he went through the process. And again, I'm not speaking in terms of the minutia of going through hurting your draft stock. I'm literally talking about, hey, this is part of the deal when you step into the NFL world. The combine is a rite of passage, and you actively not doing it is telling me that you are not all in. Is telling me that you're thinking about yourself and not thinking about the team and the ultimate team sport, which is football. I'm literally only talking about the mentality that goes into it, not about the physical attributes. All these guys can play. And again, you can have a bad combine. We've seen it. We've seen guys, Tom Brady, who didn't do anything special at the combine, go on to be the greatest quarterback of all time. The combine doesn't tell us anything. The only thing that the combine tells us is who's about it and who's not. And the only real test is you doing the events, not how well you can throw, not how fast you can run, not how much you can bench. It's, hey, can you step in there with a bunch of other guys, cheer your brothers on, and try to get drafted? That's the test for me. And a lot of guys are failing that test, and more guys are failing that test as the years goes on because they're thinking about their own personal brands, and they're thinking about the name on the back of the jersey instead of the name on the front of the jersey. That's my only point about it.
Well said, Jerm. And to wrap up the combine, let's go to this last one here. I think there's only one answer. Here. Who had the most insane performance, Jerm?
Oh, JT said it earlier. The Taylon Green, kidding me? QB out of Arkansas. He broke 3 separate quarterback records. He broke RG3's 40-yard dash record, and then Anthony Richardson, he broke his vertical jump record and his broad jump record. He broke the combine. Like, that's what you're there for. And so he had.
Do you agree, JT?
I wanted to put him, but I mean, I can't overlook what Sonny Styles did.
Yeah, it's Sonny Styles, Jerm. No offense. You had that great monologue, and then
I know. I couldn't. But I already have Sonny
insane.
Styles as my winner, so I couldn't have him as both. I didn't want to do him
He
as
could be both, man.
He could have been both. You're right.
All right, y'all. Sticking with the NFL, let's go to NFL free agency. So the league year is officially going to begin on March 11th, just about a week away. So we want to give the fans a little bit of insight to what we're thinking about free agent moves in the free agent market. So we'll list a position and we'll give the answer to who we think is the best player at that position and what's the dream fit for that player. So where do we think is the best team for them? Now, it could be a guy who's an actual free agent or someone who's been heavily rumored to be traded. So you guys ready for this? All right, first position, quarterback, Jerm. Who you got?
So this is a little hard because before the show, it had got announced that he got the rare transition tag. But I had Daniel Jones to the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's already familiar with Kevin O'Connell. He's already familiar with that system. They don't need a superhero to come in there. They're already talking about moving past J.J. McCarthy and bringing in a veteran. He just needs to steady the ship, and Kevin O'Connell needs an adult in the room, and I think Daniel Jones would be perfect. He's a steady hand. He's proven it in Indianapolis. If he can do it there, he can definitely do it in Minnesota. So I have Daniel Jones.
It's still possible. I think it's still possible, Jerm, that he gets there with the transition tag. Now,
yeah. So that basically all that means is that
have first rights,
right,
I believe.
Right. Basically, Indy would have the right to match whatever Minnesota would.
But if he leaves, no compensation though. I believe
exactly right. Exactly
right. I'm going to go regardless of Kyler Murray supposedly being cut by Arizona. I think they've told him that, and Daniel Jones with transition tag or not. I'm going Malik Willis. I think it's his time. He's bought his time in the NFL. He's improved. He learned from Matt LaFleur. And I'm going to say the best destination is JT's team, the Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay.
You just hyped him up. Why would you want to kill his career already before it even starts?
Well, I'm saying because I think the Green Bay connection helps with Halfley, right? He's going to have some familiarity there and some comfort there. And then listen, on the offensive side of the ball, if they have the right coordinator, you still got Achane there. You've got Waddle there. Like, I think there's enough pieces in what he can do, meaning Malik's skill set, that, like, you know, I like it. New regime, and why it's even better, and this is going to be a theme for me here along the way, no state income tax in Florida, Malik. Go get your money.
Yeah, definitely. Jerm, I'm going to go with the same team as the best fit, but I'm going to go a different quarterback. I think it's Kirk Cousins, just because he's actually available. Like, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent once they release him. They already said they're going to do that. And he's already been successful in Minnesota under this system. Like, I mean, it doesn't get any better fit than that.
He should be cheap for them. Yep.
Yeah. So this is Russell Wilson leaving Denver Broncos all over again. So, I mean, I know we dog Kirk Cousins, but I think it's him. And
I guess Minnesota doesn't want to win a Super Bowl anytime soon.
They ain't going to win one regardless. And Malik Willis, if you're watching the show, shout out to you. Don does not love you if he wants you to go to my Dolphins. There's nobody's
ever income tax.
Quarterback.
No state income tax. Hey, they were voting.
You spend all that money you saving on your medical bills because we don't have an offensive line.
Jerm, explain to this guy because he doesn't read the news. NFLPA survey. Who was the number one team, Jerm?
In the NFL survey for what?
NFLPA, the player survey. Overall, number one organization, Miami. Number one,
Miami.
Field,
oh yeah,
Miami.
That's right. Yeah,
number one field, Miami. It was like Miami down the board. Now you may not win. You may not win, but you're gonna be treated like a king.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
Not by the team, by the city. So let's go to the next position, running back. Jerm, who you got?
Man, this was tough, but I think the best fit, surprisingly, I have the Dallas Cowboys. I thought it would be Breece Hall, but now that Seattle is all of a sudden not interested in their Super Bowl MVP running back, I'm going to go Kenneth Walker going to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, behind that offensive line, you can get 1,500 yards easy, help Dak Prescott out, which helps CeeDee Lamb out, probably get Dallas back to where get Dallas to where they think they should be, or what their roster says they should be at the top of the NFC. So I got Kenneth Walker to the Cowboys as the best.
I've got Travis Etienne. I mean, it's him, and no disrespect to Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, but I would be worried about his injuries, his style of running. I don't know how much of a shelf life he has. Now, Etienne has his own injury history, but he has, I think, a little bit more of a different game to him, and I think he should just return back to Jacksonville. Listen, no state income tax in Florida, so you keep more of your money, and then you got Liam Cohen, who got you to 1,500 yards. You got Trevor Lawrence. You've got other weapons to lessen the load, because in Dallas, if he would go to Dallas, that would be a good spot too. But I just think it lessens the load with all of those other young pieces, and they're a ready contender. Like Dallas or some of these other spots for Etienne or a Kenneth Walker, like there's question marks. But with Jacksonville, they are a ready contender. They can win the AFC next year.
Good picks. I mean, the answer is Breece Hall, but they just tagged him. So I don't see a team giving up 2 first-round picks for a running back. So it's going to be hard to do that. So the next available guy, I agree with Jerm, is Kenneth Walker. So he's not going back to Seattle, which boggles my mind, especially since the guy who was his running mate is going to be out all year with a torn ACL.
They know something.
Yeah, they know he can't stay healthy either. That's what it is. But I would say the best fit is the Chiefs. I mean, the offense line, the Chiefs are great. Patrick Mahomes is going to be handing you the ball. He's the best quarterback in the league when healthy. So the running lanes are going to be wide open. They have been dying for running back in KC, and Kenneth Walker can go right in there and just be the stud that they need. And to me, I feel like the fact that KC has been rumored to all these running backs tells me that they're not going to get Jeremiah Love at whatever, like number 9. So I think the Chiefs are the best fit for any of these running backs. All right, here's where things get interesting. Wide receiver, Jerm, who you got? I know any answer you give is going to be the Bills. So go ahead.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill to the Chiefs. No, I'm joking. Of course, it's A.J. Brown to the Buffalo Bills. Are you kidding me? The story writes itself. He'll be cheap for this year. It's only going to cost apparently a second-round pick, and Brandon Beane has to get a receiver. So maybe you flip Keon Coleman. It doesn't sound like Keon Coleman's going anywhere, but I'd cut Curtis Samuel, Josh Paul. I'd cut all them boys. Bring in A.J. Brown, use a late pick, bring in another rookie receiver, and let's get the Super Bowl. Because the Bills. Matter of fact, I would spend Keon or another receiver and the second for A.J. Brown, and then spend every draft pick we have left in this draft on defense, because that's what we really need. But if we can get A.J. Brown for the cheap, because I don't think a receiver of this caliber will go for this less this year. We'll have to worry about the next couple of years when we have to extend him in the rest of his contract. But for next year, yeah, bring me A.J. Brown.
If only Keon Coleman would have competed at the combine, things could have been different. Don, who you got?
Maybe that showed some character there.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think it's A.J. Brown. I know he's not a free agent per se. I know he's more of a trade rumor, and that was part of the terms of this segment. But I don't think it's A.J. Brown anymore. I think A.J. Brown's lucky he got that Super Bowl, because he's starting to give me a lot of James Harden vibes. I'm going to go somewhere, compete really good 1 to 2 years, be clubhouse, locker room poison, and then get my way out of there. And you're seeing the trend. Tennessee, Philly. If I'm Buffalo, it's probably worth the gamble, but I don't think he's as elite as he once was. And now you bring some of that toxicity that he's had. And so I'm going to go with Rashid Shaheed. I mean, he has elite speed. He can be the guy who stretches the field, or just be a great complement to the number 1 guy if you already have a number 1 guy. And on top of all that, the difference maker that he is he's a return specialist. We saw that in Seattle, right? Didn't he take the opening kickoff against the 49ers? That was game, set, match. That is all you needed to watch of that game. And it was over. Like, I don't see too many receivers that can do that in this free agent class, but even in general. Name me a receiver that can take the opening kickoff and then also catch an 80-yard bomb. I don't think there's too many like that anymore. And he should go back to the Saints personally. With Kellen Moore, you got Tyler Shock there now. Like, that's a team that's going to be able to keep building. I'd go back to to the team that gave him the chance.
You're wrong. It's A.J. Brown. And
I disagree.
What?
For Jerm, I hope it's correct. It's true. It's I want to see Buffalo win if it's not the Steelers.
Still one of the top receivers in this league. Nobody can cover this man one-on-one. When he wants to be, he's dominant. And sometimes your environment dictates, how you play. He's not happy. So it's A.J. Brown. Now, I do agree in that division he should go, but I think he should go to the Patriots just because they were just in the Super Bowl, and all they really needed was just some semblance of a wide receiver 1. They got the future MVP in Drake May already. He's the best quarterback in that division. So go play with the best guy in the division.
God.
Drake May to A.J. Brown will feed families, much to my dismay as a Dolphins fan. But I think the better fit long-term for his career will be in New England with the Patriots.
JT, you do not believe Drake May is better than Josh Allen. Would you stop?
How many times I got to say it?
Oh, my God.
Hey, Jerm, he's so full of it because 2 years ago now, this was 2 years ago when AJ was still in his prime, we were trying to work out a dynasty trade, and he wasn't even willing to give up a first for AJ. He would tell me he's injury prone. Go look at the list. He missed in a 3-year stretch. He missed like 1 game, right?
Yeah.
So where's the injury prone? And then on top of that, he would be like, nah, he's not that elite anymore. He's not the Jefferson, the Jamar Chase. Now, 2 years later, we're 2 years removed
He was
from that
never the
combo.
Jefferson, the
Now he
Jamar
wants
Chase.
to,
I never
now he
said
wants
that.
to say he's elite. He's still elite. Get out of here. Go to the next position.
If he had
Go
if
to the
he
next
had a
position.
if he had a real quarterback throwing to him in Philly, that's why he's mad. He doesn't have a real quarterback throwing to him in Philly. If he gets there with Josh Allen,
Hey,
now, come on, man.
See what JT does when he doesn't agree with something. Oh,
Hey,
on to the next one. Just go to the next position. Go to the next position group.
All right, let's go to defense, D-line.
So after, I mean, listen, I can't believe Cincinnati's. It's Trey Hendrickson. It's Trey Hendrickson.
Yes.
And the team is Detroit. Go to Detroit. Him and Aiden Hutchinson, that would be nightmare fuel for the NFC North. I would love that. And that would be right up Dan Campbell's alley. Like them two, like the offense, obviously the Detroit traded away David Montgomery. So they're going through some stuff in terms of changing their identity anyway. So the best way to do it is through defense. We've seen that in the last couple Super Bowls. Get in another player who can help your star defensive lineman and or edge rusher with Aiden Hutchinson. Trey Hendrickson, the second best thing you can get, is definitely there. And if you can't get him, maybe like Milton Williams or something like that. But Trey's the easiest answer. And Detroit's, I think it would be the best team for him.
Yeah, it's
JJ
the top.
McCarthy retired so early.
It's the top answer. JT, I'm sure, is going to give us like some, reason why it's not him, and he pulled some diamond in the rough out. So we're not going to listen to JT. It's Trey Hendrickson, still 31 but dominant, right? 39 sacks over the past 3 seasons while only playing 7 games last year. And I think he can take any of those Super Bowl like pretender teams into a contender. If I'm him, I'd go to Kansas City and stick it to Cincy if I face them in the playoffs. Like, go to Kansas City. You're bound to get to the AFC title game, and that might be one of the pieces along with a running back that they're missing.
Yeah, you guys, great answer. To me, it was a tie. It was really hard to separate these guys. One is Trey Hendrickson, and I think he should go to Seattle. I mean, that defense is already elite. Imagine if they had a guy like him that can get 20 sacks a year. With that guy, McDonald calling the plays, I mean, I would want to play him. So Trey Hendrickson is definitely one. And then the other guy that I think is up there with him is Max Crosby. He's all over these trade rumors. And if I'm Max Crosby, I'm going to the Cowboys. Like, that's all they need. Their offense is elite. They just need a guy that could get that timely sack. They need that Michael Parsons type of guy, get the timely sack, win the game, turn the tide. So it's between those two. But yeah, Hendrickson is definitely the guy that's more available. I would say the Seahawks, he should go. All right, linebacker. Jerm, who you got?
The Philadelphia Eagles, they need a linebacker. We'll figure out linebacker later stuff they've been doing is very tiring. And Devin Lloyd is probably a good as an unrestricted free agent. I was going to say Matt Milano, but I think he's going to stay in Buffalo. But Lloyd is a high volume tackler that the Eagles desperately need. And so, stop dumpster diving. Just go get a high end linebacker. And I think Devin Lloyd, who I think is a little bit better than Matt Milano, would be a perfect fit for them.
I'm going Quay Walker of Green Bay. I think he's the best linebacker out there. 128 tackles, 8 tackles for losses. I think he should go to Dallas. Again, no state income tax. He can help shore up that defense, and he might be one of those couple missing pieces that they need.
Yeah, he's also going to tackle your trainer too. I agree with Jerm. It's Devin Lloyd, and I think he should stay exactly where he is with the Jags. I mean, look what he did. He's the only player linebacker that PFF rated 80 plus in run defense, pass coverage, and pass rush. And like, this dude is the complete package. Like, why would Jacksonville let him go? Like, y'all got to find a way to sign this man. Like, it's not bringing back Travis Etienne. It's bringing back this guy. Like, this is the cornerstone of your defense. I think he should stay right where he is. All right, last but not least, DB. Jerem, who you got?
The recently released Marshawn Lattimore should go to the Green Bay Packers. Washington literally just cut him to save $18 million, which I don't blame him for. But when he's healthy, he's legit. And Green Bay more apparent this last season, needs a veteran corner who doesn't panic when, wide receiver one looks at him, right? Enough of the project players. Like, get some. You got Micah there. Get another veteran there. Get that defense right. Marshawn Lattimore's available, and go ahead and get him in Green Bay.
I'm going to go out of the safety position for the defensive backs. Kobe Bryant out of Seattle, 4 interceptions, 4 tackles for losses. On top of that, he's only 26, has won a Super Bowl. I think he can be a difference maker in the back end of that any defense, but I think he should stay in Seattle. You got Mike McDonald. You got that dark side defense, as they call it. I think he's the best defensive back in that whole pool, but I think he should stay put in Seattle. Even if he has to take a little less, they're going to have a phenomenal run with him back there.
I'm going to go with the guy that I feel like every year people just don't talk about him, and all he does is get interceptions. I think he led the league in interceptions last year, and every year that he's been in the league, he's either leading or he's at the top. It's Kevin Byard. Like, talk about a center field safety that's going to go out there and make game-changing plays. I think he should go to the Patriots. Like, you get to play the Dolphins quarterback, whoever the hell that is, twice a year. You get to play the Jets quarterback, whoever the hell that will be, twice a year. And you get to play Josh Allen, who's guaranteed to give you some interceptions. So, I mean, we looking at maybe 10, 12 picks. Why not, man? I think he's the best DB available, and I think he should go to the AFC East and play for the Patriots.
You're out of control. You were so out of control. Unbelievable.
He's just a hater. What do you call him, Jerm? What do you always say?
The diabolical hater, man.
He is.
Hey, look.
See what I got to deal with every show. I wake up to text messages. I'm already annoyed.
If Josh Allen is given 4 or 5 turnovers to whoever the DBs were for the Broncos, I know Kevin Byard can get 3 interceptions by himself. Like, in 2 games, you got I'm being unrealistic, because one of them games going to be on the road in Foxborough, so it's going to happen. If I were Kevin Byard, I'd go to the AFC East.
Hey, listen, I'm proud of you, because you did not mention one of your 3 favorite teams. Like, all these players that are available, you didn't get them to stack on any of your favorite teams. All 3 of them. Because I'm
realistic. The Dolphins, nobody should want to. They're not a perfect fit for anybody except an undrafted rookie looking to get some game tape in the league. That's it. Nobody should want to go to the Dolphins.
You're the only person I know that has a favorite team in every division in football. It's crazy. Never seen it.
Y'all listening to Don with this crap. Look, I just troll him with the AFC North just because he loves the Steelers. And look, I love the Ravens just because all the UM guys went there. I can't help it that franchise is a bunch of ballers, man. What you want me to say?
Pick a team is what I want you to say.
I did. The Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins through and through.
Yeah.
Remember that. Write it down.
Not through.
Not through and through.
Only when they win. Only when they win. Jerm, how many times does he talk smack against you leading up to the game Buffalo twice a year? You never hear from him, right?
Never.
Because my team is terrible.
There you go.
My team is terrible.
So you can't say once. You can't say you can't at least talk smack.
See, now I get it. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. What you want me to do is what did Jerm give the whole combine camaraderie? Even though my team sucks, you want me to go through the process of trash talking when they're gonna lose.
You're supposed to suffer with your team.
Hey,
I do suffer.
And then
I watch them lose every freaking year. What you mean? I am suffering.
Hey, Jerm, this sums it up. The last 2 years, the Florida Panthers have won a cup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are the only times I've ever heard him root for them
or
bring them up. He hasn't mentioned them all year this year. Go look up the standings, Jerm. Go look up the standings. They're out of the playoffs right now.
Maybe if you were mentioning the Penguins every 5 seconds, I would get a word in. But
hold on. Let me look up the weather. Let me look up the forecast where JT's at. Oh, fair weather. I got you. Okay. 7-day forecast.
Don't
fair
listen
weather.
to this, man. Hey, look, I've been a fan of the Panthers ever since they first came to Miami. I got the pictures with McClain. Trust me, he knows he's trolling me. I still got my Van Bees jersey at my parents' house, authentic. Look, anything that's Miami, I'm a real fan. The Dolphins are just trash. Like, I'm not putting myself through that for unnecessary reasons. Same thing with the Hurricanes. You talk all the time. When they suck, we're not out there talking about how great they are and how many games they're going to win. When they look like they're going to be good, then we can speak up again. I'm a realistic fan, but I always support my teams.
Fair weather, realistic fan. There's a lot out there like that.
Yeah, hey, like you like the Magic, right?
Let's love the Magic. You want me to go put on some gear? You know I have Magic gear. I've been to playoff games.
Go get your Paolo Banchero jersey.
I've driven 2 hours to go to Cleveland to watch them play? I mean, what else do you want from me?
You would
It's
drive,
the Orlando
you would drive
Magic.
5 hours to Cleveland to watch any sport as long as it gets you out of the house. They ain't got nothing to do with the Magic.
Wow. All right, let's talk about some boxing. All right, so it's finally official. Supposedly, the rematch of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao set for September 19th of this year at the Sphere in Las Vegas on Netflix. No pay-per-view, fellas. All right, so Jerm, why do you think the two of them are having this fight basically almost now 11 years after their first mega bout?
Because the check's still clear. I mean, that's really why.
Or maybe it's not clearing for them, more like it when they write their checks now.
Yeah, but that's exactly why, right? Because people are willing to pay to watch them fight. Netflix has FU money, and they're going to spend it on this. And you got 50-year-old Mayweather or 40 whatever year old Pacquiao, and they're fighting 10 years too late because they know they can still fleece people to get the cash grab. And it's to me, that's really that plain and simple, right? If you look at Jake Paul numbers and realizing you don't have to be good anymore, like it's all a spectacle, it's all a show, and they have names, and Manny Pacquiao has a country. Like it's just one of those things where it's the nostalgia grab, and they're doing it now because they probably are out of money, or specifically Pacquiao, and they know that it's an easy, whatever they're getting paid, which I've got to imagine it's a lot because they wouldn't do it otherwise. And we're living in the era of the spectacle over the sport, right? These guys aren't fighting for a belt. They're fighting for the next real estate investment or the next, what is he, Filipino, political run. And listen, I'm sure Mayweather just wants another diamond encrusted watch. Like I'm sure there's plenty of reasons, right? It's easy money. That's really what it comes down to.
JT?
No, this is easy. They going out there to compete. They heard what Jerm said. They're like,
God.
look, I don't want to be considered somebody.
Hey, Jerm, what is JT? Say it again for us. What is JT?
Diabolical hater, man. That's crazy.
No, real talk. Jerm is right though. It is about the spectacle. But let's be real. They broke. Like, I'm sorry if I'm Floyd Mayweather. Like, even if it is for a spectacle, I've made so much money and I floss so much money. Like, the check got to be so ridiculous for me to even get out of bed. Like, because I don't need the money. They got to be broke. I'm sorry. They got to be broke. That's the only reason you're doing this.
Well, to both of your points, there's an interesting article by Alan Dawson on Yahoo Sports, Alan Dawson of Uncrowned, but you can find it on Yahoo Sports. They talk about Mayweather has sued Showtime and their other representatives $340 million for, he's alleging, concealed and diverted revenue from his boxing earnings that he didn't get.
What?
But
50 was right. He can't read the contract. See, that's the problem.
But on top of this, the Business Insider, an investigation by the Business Insider, has revealed that there are liens, debts, foreclosures, and leveraged assets like property and private jets on Mayweather's property and other assets. He has taken out millions in new mortgages in 2025. Two common properties were commercial properties were foreclosed. In his Vegas building, which has his strip club in it, faces tax delinquency. All right. He has settled more than $28 million in back taxes. And then on top of that, then you look at Manny Pacquiao, he's had his own financial troubles with taxes. And as well as he's admitted that he returned in 2025 for financial reasons. I mean, Manny Pacquiao has admitted that when he got ready for, I think, Mario Barrios. So, I mean, your answers are spot on. I think that's the only one. This was the funny thing. In that article, Ishe Smith, which was, I think, represented at one point, he's a boxer represented at one point by Mayweather. He said, no one comes back at the age of 50 for the love of the sport. It's only about the money at that point.
Just Tom Brady, though.
He's like, no one does it. Well, I think he meant boxing. No one's putting themselves in the ring to get hit repeatedly.
Conor McGregor showed us that
sport.
Like, once you start getting paid real money, getting out of bed to get hit becomes harder and harder. Like, you just not doing it for love of the game.
Yeah. There's very few individuals that have that in them. You know what I mean? You got to be built for that for real.
Yeah. All right. So, Jerm, this next question, put it on there. when JT and I were living in Miami, my wife and I, we would have fight parties, like watch parties for the boxing fights. JT would always come over empty-handed, of course, would never bring anything, but it's all right.
Yeah.
We don't
You don't need nothing from me. What can I get you that you already don't got in the house?
Says the guy that has cathedral ceilings,
you say
state-of-the-art facility,
what does that
gym in his house. But anyway, so Jerm, is it worth hosting a watch party to see this fight in September?
Hell no. No, unless you want to watch 36 minutes of pot shotting and just clinching, and we're gonna be checking our phones more than we're watching the fight. It's gonna be terrible. It's going to be terrible. Like anybody who has any expectations of this fight, let him go. This will not be entertaining. I mean, again, there's like my uncle and them. They do that. They're gonna have a watch party for this fight. They love fighting. They're really into it. They know all the undercard people, and I'm sure they'll. The only reason you would is because it's free, right? They're not charging us $75 to watch the fight. You're paying with your time because you got to watch it. But it's on Netflix, which is what you said earlier. So if you were going to throw one because it's free, in a sense, because you're already paying for Netflix, then maybe. But yeah, I'm not interested in this. Like, I don't want to watch it. You're not watching it for anything other than there's nothing else on. There's nothing else to do. You're not watching it because, oh my God, we got to see this rematch, and they're going to be at the height of their athleticism. Like, if you're expecting a good boxing match and you're watching it for that, I'm not throwing a party for that. That's going to be terrible.
JT, you hosting one at the mansion? Jerm and I will fly down, though. He said he won't host one, but we'll attend one.
Yeah, I'll attend
at the mansion.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I'm trying to get into the grotto. You feel me?
I don't even know what that means. But look, man, I'm not doing anything for this fight. I'm not watching it simply for the reason of they had an opportunity to make this a thing and they ruined it. And I'll never fall for this again. That Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Look, if you're gonna have these fights, there a possibility that somebody is going to be knocked unconscious. And when I seen Mike Tyson doing everything in his power not to knock Jake Paul out, I'm like, this is the blueprint. They're going to sit around, hug each other for 12 rounds and steal our money. I guess they can't steal it now because it's free. But hell no, I know I'm not going to see a knockout. I'm not going to see real punches. I'm not going to see the fight that I wanted basically 20 years ago between these two guys. So I'm not watching it, not wasting my time. Not doing a watch party. Now, if you guys want to fly down and, you want to watch another sport or something else, look, whatever. We can watch Sinners, the movie, and, celebrate the Oscars.
It will be a college football Saturday. I mean, it will be a college football Saturday.
There we go. There we go.
But I agree with you guys. They should have run this back right at 6 months later, or a year later, once, Manny-Pacquiao had his surgery for his shoulder and everything. I mean, there's better, younger boxers to watch at this point. Now, granted, it is free. I may happen to turn it on because
damn well you watching it. You gonna be tuned in. You gonna be texting me about the
undercards. Okay, the undercards, yes, that's a whole different thing. The undercards are going to be better than the main event, so that pretty much sums it up. So all right, so let's go to everyone's favorite segment. Jerm, you may be a little rusty, but you're going to catch on real quick. Forget about it, or Fugazi. For those first time viewers and listeners, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you tune back in future episodes, but forget about it, or Fugazi. What it simply means is we're going to read a statement, and if we agree with it, we're going to say forget about it. If we think it's a terrible take or we don't agree with it, we're going to say Fugazi. Pretty simple. So, Jerm, let's start with you. The Lakers need to move on from LeBron today, right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, forget about it. Yeah, it's over. The circus has to end, and the problem is, Brian Windhorst said it a few days ago. When Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron are on the court together, they're terrible, like almost historically terrible. And the problem is, LeBron and Luka specifically do the same thing. Luka he doesn't need a co-star. He doesn't. Austin Reeves will grow into that. What he needs, what he needs is Anthony Davis, which is ironic because that's who he got traded for. But he needs like somebody like that, somebody who does And honestly, probably not even that. He probably needs like somebody a little less sexy, right? He needs probably like an Evan Mobley, or he needs some like I'm blanking. I had a guy in my head, but basically somebody like that that'll clean up all of Luka's messes, but will fit in seamlessly, can hit an open jump shot, and basically play real defense. So yeah, look, the LeBron thing, it's past its prime, and it's clearly not going to work. They're not all of a sudden going to turn it on. So, you know, especially now that it's going towards the end. He's 41, and I get he's still dropping 20 a night. That's fine, but in the context of what they have, the moment they traded for Luka should have been also the end of LeBron.
JT.
Yeah, I believe the answer you're looking for is he needs a Bam Adebayo. Just a guy that don't want to be a superstar. Yeah. He could do enough just to be good.
There you go.
I agree with you. Just forget about it. And you talking about that historically bad negative net rating. It's like minus 7.8 when the three of those guys on the floor, Braun, Luka, and Reeves. But yeah, he's not winning them another title. And talking about him scoring 20 points a game, but this year he's had an epic drop in points per game. It's like almost 7 points per game in scoring that he's dropping. So like the cliff is coming, and the roster is just not compatible with him anymore. And for everything you said, it's because him and Luka do a lot of the same things. Luka's younger, so I don't understand how you have those two together. And plus, getting rid of LeBron is probably going to give them like $50 million or so in cap space for them to actually make it Luka's team and bring in the pieces to put around him to give them a chance to win a championship. So yeah, I do think they need to move on from Braun. They should have did it, like you said, as soon as they brought in Luka on that trade.
It's Fugazi. Listen, the two of them, meaning the Lakers and LeBron, they've made their bed. You got to sleep in it. And listen, on top of that, you can't just move on from the greatest player ever, like while he's still producing. You just can't do that. Like you never saw the Penguins move on from Mario Lemieux, right? The greatest hockey player of all time. Like you don't see teams move on from the greatest player of all time. Like if they leave on their own, that's fine, but you can't move them out. You cannot do that. Lakers didn't do that.
Did the Bulls move on from Jordan?
Like, he moved. No, that was his decision. That was his decision.
His alone.
At the end of the day, he retired and then went to the Wizards. They didn't move him out. Right? It's not like they traded him or didn't re-sign him, right? I mean, yes, at the end of the day, Chicago did him no favors, right? But they didn't move on from him necessarily by taking him off the team.
All right, fair enough. So let's go on the opposite end of that coin. So the Mavs moving on from Luka doesn't look as crazy as it first did. Forget about it or Fugazi. Jerm.
So if I'm answering this correctly, it does look as crazy. So I guess that would be Fugazi.
Yeah.
Because
right.
Luka leads the league in scoring. He's top 3 in assists. He's top 3 or top. I think he's second or first. He's top 3 in 3-pointers. Like he is everything he's supposed to be. And the Mavs have no direction, man. They fired the GM that even made the trade. I'd say that makes it even worse. Like they're going to be irrelevant for 10 years. I don't care how the NBA rigged the draft to get Cooper Flag for them. It ain't enough. Like it looks crazy. And the only reason somebody could craft an argument that it doesn't is because the Lakers aren't taking off like people thought they would when they got Luka, and it's because they have some compatibility issues with the roster. But that ain't on Luka. Luka, look at his stats. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing, and so yeah, no, that's Fugazi.
Yeah, no, it's Fugazi. You got it right. It looks even crazier now after trading AD, and they did have direction to supposedly Jerm when they made that trade. What'd they say? You win championships with defense, right? Yeah. You win championships with defense. And what happened? They ship out AD, right? Mm-hmm. They get lucky. If they had not had the draft lottery, as you said, fixed to their liking, they don't even have Cooper Flag. They no longer would have AD. Kyrie gets hurt. Where would they be? What would they be? Nothing. And they're kind of nothing now. 21-39. They're in 12th place in the West, 2-8 in their last 10 games. And again, they thought they were going to build a championship on defense. That's why they made the move, right? So why are you shipping out AD now? Oh, you fire your GM. Now you've left Jason Kidd kind of holding the bag. I mean, it's a disaster. That is so Fugazi. I don't know why JT put that statement here, but he's probably going to say, forget about it. Watch. Go ahead.
It's Fugazi. First of all, you act like when I give you these questions, I don't necessarily believe them. This is what people are talking about.
Who said who? What people? Your friends? Like they're people on social media?
They're talking about it for
media, your friends that you've never met on social media.
The guy that can't even open the Twitter app is debating what's on social media. Specifically for what Jerm said is people are wondering if it's not as crazy because you assume Braun, Luka, and Reeves, like they should be front running and they're not. So that's why people are starting to have this conversation of, well, maybe it wasn't that crazy. But I agree with you guys. It's Fugazi. You making the decision to trade a 25-year-old generational superstar in his prime without a bidding war. That's the crazy part. They didn't even let the rest of the league compete to get Luka in the trade. They're just like in the middle of the night, hey, Lakers, here you go. Have him for absolutely nothing. The fact that they did that in that fashion, it will always be Fugazi no matter what happens.
On top of the fact what Don was saying, then you traded away the player that you used to get him or that you got in return for him and fired the GM that made the trade. Like it's unbelievable. It's so bad that there's also now reports that Mark Cuban is trying to get a bunch of people together to buy the team back. Imagine that. Like that. I couldn't imagine being a fan of the Dallas Mavericks going through all of that stuff right now. It's insane.
All right, so last one. The Chad Barker, Mazzara, and Darren Peterson situations in college basketball are troubling signs for the future of it. Jerm?
Yeah, man. Forget about it. This is what we were talking about with the NFL Combine. These guys playing for the name on the back of the jersey and not the front. You got these guys just courtside, like they got season tickets every other game. You're faking injuries. This kid, Darren Peterson, I want to be out. Then be out there. Don't hit a three and let me catch you on video subbing yourself out of a game. And then telling me at the press conference that you want to play. You don't want to play. You don't. Because there's this thing. Then what's wrong with you then? You got all these, because then that's another problem. It's either you don't want to play, you're trying to save yourself for the draft, or you got a bunch of shit wrong with you and we need to know about it, because then I'm not wasting a draft pick on you if you have all these ailments that are only preventing you from only playing for 12 minutes at a time. I don't want to see that. Like these guys, these guys are setting such a bad precedent. Like you're focusing on your own personal brands here. You're trying to win a championship. If you're going to be there, be there. You can't be injury. I don't want to see kids injury managing in college. Is to protect your draft stock. Like that's
you got to protect that check.
Yeah, you're ruining college basketball.
Hey,
in the process.
It's the school of JT. The school of JT. We've heard it all night. Play for yourself. Play for yourself. Watch out for yourself. Protect your own check. Go ahead,
but
JT.
you can't be healthy. You can't
Be
be healthy
selfish.
enough to warm up and then too injured to play in the second half. It just can't happen. Like you can't. That's not a player that I want. That's not a player I want on my team. That's looking out for your self-interest. You're playing a team sport. You're playing, what you do affects others, because guys who may not be as talented as you are relying on you to be on the court to help them look better and to help them play better and improve their draft stock. Help them out. Do it for them. Like you're already great. You're already going to get drafted high. You can't get drafted higher than number one, dog. Like it's not going to hurt you to play a few extra minutes. So how about you do it for your teammates? And I can't stand watching these young players who haven't been through shit at all in their life, acting like they've done it for 15, 20 years. Enough. Like you playing in your PAL league isn't the same as playing D1 college basketball and playing in the NBA. I don't want to hear about your AAU run since you were 12. That's not real basketball. You're playing against a bunch of future burger flippers out there. Go out there and play the game. Win in college. Show me that you're a winner. What you're showing me is that when things get tough, that you don't have the mental fortitude to stick it out. That's what you're showing me, and I don't like that.
Hey man, be nice to the kids playing AAU
Sorry,
ball,
man.
man. They try hard. I mean,
I'm in my get off my lawn era. Sorry,
I got you.
I'm about to say I jumped off your lawn ASAP, man. That was scary as hell. I mean, you're right. And I will say, it is forget about it, but I think it's concerning because I think what we're seeing this year, this is what people's main gripe are about the NIL in college football. But I think it's more troubling for college basketball because at least in football, those guys have to stay there for at least 3 years. So they kind of got to have to play ball with college football, even if it means I go somewhere, I get paid. You got to act like you're with it because you got to deal with the schools for 3 years. The NBA is not the same. College basketball is not the same way. I don't have to play 1 year and be done. That's it. I just got to be on campus for one season. Doesn't matter what I do, and I can still be number one overall. How many number one overall picks have we seen on college basketball teams where teams are not good? Ben Simmons was the first overall pick, and that team didn't even make the tournament. Cade Cunningham's another one. They maybe won one game in that tournament. Number one picks just aren't on great teams usually, and it absolutely has no bearing on their draft stock. And those guys know that. You know when you're not going to be the number one overall pick. So now they're just doing whatever they can do to protect it. And I think that makes the brand of college basketball worse because now you're seeing shit like the kid at Kansas. Like, I've never seen nothing like this. Like, you in the middle of a game hitting shots and you checking yourself out, like, while the game is still going on. And first of all, you ain't even the best player in Kansas history. Like, Kansas has a lineage of ballers at the college level, at the NBA level. For you to be disrespected like that is crazy to me. So I do think it is troubling for college basketball because they don't have to be there more than just a semester. So they don't have to play ball with the school. So, yeah, it's definitely troubling.
I think it's Fugazi. But there's always been players who were either like one and done. Remember when we went through the one and done era? Oh, this is the end of college hoops.
But it's not about
let me
one
get
and done,
to
though.
it. I understand. Let me get to it. You've always had people with, or some players with attitude problems, right? Like people were worried about some of this, or there were players that were only worried about their future, right? There's always been players like that. But in college basketball, so this is twofold. One, I think we're eventually going to get to a point where college athletics, there's player contracts, and that'll get rid of all of this. Can you play or not? Like your contract dictates you have to play now. No more NIL funny stuff. Like your contract says you've got to play, and they may put a minimum amount of games unless you're actually injured, right? But that's all that matters, fellas. How many minutes, how many games have you watched start to finish so far, Jerm, college basketball this season?
Not many. Not
okay.
many.
JT, how many start to finish have you watched college basketball so far this
Realistically,
season? Be honest.
10.
Be honest.
10.
Start to finish? Who?
Probably 10,
what
yeah.
games? Start to
some
finish.
Of the Canes games,
you watched
and some
all
of the
40
big ones.
minutes. You never text me during a Canes game. There ain't no way you've watched Canes game because you're always texting me in football season.
I got multiple things I'm doing at the same time. I don't have time
you have
to text
time
you.
to text me Canes football games.
To your point, I've watched more start to finish women's games than I have men's games.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
All right.
I've watched, but men's games start to finish, it's definitely less than 10. It's maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, and there's like 10 games on tonight, fellas.
Yeah.
Right? So all that matters in college basketball is March Madness, right?
Right.
Go
100%.
ask Duke. They've been how many times ACC champs? They haven't won a title, I think, since like 2011 or 12. Go ask them. That's all that matters, right? You go ask the NCAA. What matters? Money. Where do they make all of their money? The March Madness package with CBS. CBS doesn't get it for the regular season game in November or December when the NFL is still on. They get it for March Madness. True TV, TNT. It's for March Madness. Go ask all the other schools, the coaches, the players. What matters comes March Madness, conference tournaments, and then the big dance, right? That's what matters. So all this we're talking about Darren Peterson, guess what? If he plays in the NCAA tournament, they win 6 games. In 20 years, we will forget that Darren Peterson did all of that stuff. We will remember him winning, like Mario Chalmers hitting the shot with Kansas, and then it will not impact the future of college basketball as long as March Madness is still March Madness to the fans. And that's what's going to matter, because you're going to get the average fan or the person that hasn't watched 1 second not know who Darren Peterson is, and it doesn't matter. They're watching it for the upsets. They're watching it because they have their bracket. They're watching it because they're in Vegas and happen to put a $5 bet, and now they're the most interested Stephen F. Austin fan. That's why. Like, that is why I think it's Fugazi. We're going to forget about these 2 players and what they did in college basketball. We're going to remember what they do in March Madness, and then what have they done in the NBA.
I don't know. We'll see, man, because it's one thing to pull this at a smaller school, but you start pulling this stuff at schools like Kansas and other players see that. Duke and UNC could be next. So that's all I'm saying.
I don't know if that'll ever happen at Duke, right? Like,
I mean, UNC had that whole mess with their players a couple years ago. So I mean, it's been creeping up there if things happening where players just don't give a damn and they don't care how they look in the media.
And they've bounced back, and all that matters is March Madness now. Like, that's all that matters. Like, you gotta win that. So, well, hey, Jerm, thank you for your time, right, and indulging us in coming on the show. Don't be a stranger, but real quick, go ahead. Obviously, give us a shot. Network. You're kind of running everything, but go ahead, give your show the plug.
Yeah, man. Listen, team effort, man. Shout out to y'all, JT and the Don. Y'all been coming back. Took a little break there, so I'm glad to see y'all. Catch them, catch me, and my partner Bert at Stuff About Sports. All on the Give Us a Shot Network. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys are helping us out. TikTok, Give Us a Shot Network. Facebook, Give Us a Shot Network. And the website, obviously, www.giveusashot.network.
Nice. Well, thanks, Jerm, and thank you to all the fans and listeners out there. As Jerm just said, subscribe and like to Give Us a Shot Network on the YouTube channel, as well as subscribe to JT and the Don All Sports Podcast. We can be found on all of the major platforms, wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember, if you like what we do, leave us a 5-star review. And JT,
if you don't like what we do,
leave us a 5-star review. And remember, we can be found on social media. Our handle, JT and the Don. We've got, as JT runs it, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. We got Instagram, X, not Twitter, not Twitter. I know it's not Twitter anymore. So you got Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. So again, thank you to Jerm and JT. Always fun, man. And until the next episode, see ya.
Peace.